Badminton fans all over the world had to wait some time for the 2020 season finale. But when it finally arrived, it did not disappoint. Strength, determination, and a whole array of top-notch action was on display in Thailand.
What a point again! This is unbelievable!
Only the best of the best fought it out for the final honours of the year. An epic finale to a season unlike any other. Sit back and enjoy the very best from the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals 2020. History unfolded in the capital city of Thailand when it hosted the third HSBC BWF World Tour Finals. The tournament came on the back of 2 consecutive Thailand Opens, all held within a bubble under strict health and safety protocols. But the restricted environment did not deter badminton's elite from showcasing their talents. Prime example, second seed and world number 3 Anders Antonsen. The Dane showed tenacity in his opening match against former world number 1 Kidambi Srikanth after falling short in the first game. He turned his fortunes around in the second before overcoming the Indian shuttler in a tight decider. Antonsen's second match was a simpler affair. Up against Ka Long Angus of Hong Kong, the 23-year-old exerted himself from the get-go to clinch victory in straight games. But the Denmark Open champion was denied a perfect record in the group stage after being pinned back by Chinese Taipei's Wang Su-wei. Both shuttlers already through to the next round were battling for top spot, with Wang showing more intent to secure victory in 38 minutes. Meanwhile, Antonsen's compatriot and top seed Victor Axelsen won the other group without dropping a game. The world number 4 was looking for his 3rd title in a row and made the perfect start, edging past Indonesia's Anthony Sinisuka Ginting in his opening match, before dispatching Malaysia's Lee Zijia to take his unbeaten run to 27 games. He got his 28th win after cruising past Chinese Taipei's Cho Tian-chen, who despite the loss also secured his spot in the last 4. By a quirk of the draw, both men's semi-finals were replays of the last group matches. So Antonsen faced Wang again in the first semis tie, but this time outlasted the 5th seed to exact revenge. It was a tight battle in the opener, the Dane needing 3 game points to clinch the win.
21-18, the opening game in favour of Anders Antonsen.
Wang fought back in the second and had a 6-point lead before successfully challenging to level things.
Oh no, great challenge. 1 game apiece.
Correction, out.
And in a nail-biting decider that offered great rallies from both shuttlers, Antonsen found the extra edge when it mattered most to win the last 4 points and book his place in the final.
And he's done it. And Anders Antonsen is through to the final.
Meeting him there was countryman Axelsen, whose hot form left him flawless in the group stage. And he continued the streak against world number 2 Cho, who showed some resistance at the start before ultimately falling short. Axelsen took the first game by 5 and went on to produce some spectacular points in the second.
Oh my goodness, backhand cross-court smash with full pirouette. Would you believe it?
To cruise through to his 3rd straight finals in Bangkok.
And he's done it. 21-16, 21-9, the margin of his victory.
So it was an all-Danish duel to decide who would be champion, a first in the tournament's history. Recent form and a better head-to-head record saw Axelsen go into the match as favourite, but it was Antonsen who impressed early on.
That's
wide.
wide.
Yeah.
How on earth did he win that rally? Anders Antonsen. Between the legs,
19,
defensive shot.
15.
Antonsen continued to frustrate the older Dane, winning the last 5 points to take the opening game.
Oh, that's a
Game.
gorgeous shot from Anders Antonsen. And with it
First
comes
game won
the
by
opening
Anders
game,
Antonsen,
21-16.
21-16.
Axelsen, helped by a string of errors from his compatriot,
Game.
regained his composure in the second. But any hopes of a comeback evaporated at 17-all in the decider.
Great
That's
block.
a winner. That's
That's
a
a
winner.
great block.
It was all Antonsen from then on. He took the championship point at the first time of asking to become the only player to defeat Axelsen in over a year and deny him a third straight title.
It's overwhelming. I did not expect to go all the way. I've had a tough month, and things has not been working well for me, and I've been struggling a lot. So to be the winner here is unreal.
World number 1 Tai Tzu Ying came into the season finale after reaching 2 finals in Bangkok, but fell short on both occasions. She began her quest to banish those disappointments with a thrilling comeback win over former world number 1 Prasarla V Sindhu. The second seed was put through another tough test when she locked horns with local star and 5th seed Pornpawi Chochuwong, who was running high on confidence following her win over idol Ratchanok Intanon. Tai tried to keep pace with Chochuwong, but eventually fell to a surprising straight games defeat. Chochuwong's triumph put her through to the next round, but the result also meant it was do or die for Tai against Intanon, and it was the 3rd-seeded local star who won the pulsating opener. The Chinese Taipei shuttler upped the ante in the second to level things before dictating the decider to clinch victory and, more importantly, a place in the last 4. Meanwhile, in the other group, top seed Carolina Marin was looking to cap her season with a hat-trick of titles following her wins at the 2 Thailand Opens. The Spaniard had not dropped a game in Bangkok and extended that streak with easy victories over Evgenia Kosetskaya and Michelle Lee to book her spot in the semis. But her winning run was halted by Korea's prodigy An So-young in her final round-robin match. The 4th-seeded An finished the group stage with a perfect record following her win. The youngster was then drawn to play world number 1 Tai in the first semi-final. The pair had met once in the 29 Sudirman Cup, where An stunned Tai to take victory. And the Korean got off to a flyer here as well.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome play.
Tumbling net shot from
6.
the 18-year-old.
But Tai produced some brilliant net play to swing the momentum her way.
Oi, 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 oi. That is a nice net exchange.
10, 9.
Before closing out the first game.
It's gorgeous. What a
Game.
finish from Tai Tzu Ying,
First
sending
game won by Tai
Young
Tzu Ying,
and Si Young
21,
to the
18.
floor and comes through the opening game, 21 points to 18.
And with both coming into this clash on the back of 3-game victories, it was Tai who proved to have more in the tank, running away in the second to take the match and book her 5th final appearance of the season. Securing the other final spot was reigning Olympic champion Marin, who ended home favourite Chochuwong's dream run. Marin asserted authority in the opening game to win 7 straight points before closing it out.
She's playing such an aggressive game, Carolina
16,
Marin.
10.
The Rio 2016 gold medalist continued her dominance in the second to seal victory and move one step closer to a 3rd straight title.
The outright winning drop shot disguised to finish the match from Carolina Marin.
For the third Sunday in a row, it was Marin versus Thai, with the Spaniard gunning for a hat-trick of wins over the world number one. Thai herself was seeking a third season-ending title. Marin got off to a better start, verbally hyping herself up to draw first blood.
Opening game, 21-14 to the Olympic champion.
But Thai found her own voice in the second and put on a more aggressive display to take an 8-2 lead.
Goodness me. Well, that's two she's just swiped off the top of the net.
Yes.
Before forcing an error out of Marin to level things. The rallies were quick and fast in the decider, both players refusing to give the other the upper hand, but at 8-all, it was Marin who found the slight edge.
Oh, that's a winner.
That is sensational from Carolina Marin.
The top seed pulled away after the final interval, but the Chinese Taipei shuttler showed grit to gradually claw her way back. And with pressure mounting, Marin started to scatter mistakes between points, allowing Thai to capitalise, claiming the last 4 points to snatch the title.
It's in, and Tai Su-ying has done it.
应该是根本没有在一个地方就是比了三场的比赛，那其实连续3个礼拜很辛苦啊。那到后来赢了是很开心，但是也很累。
Toyota Thailand Open women's doubles runners-up Lee So-hee and Shing Seung-chan were hoping to do one better in the season finale, but the Korean duo were made to fight to the wire in the group stage. The third seeds went down in a grueling fight against top seeds Gracia Polly and Apriyani Rahayu in an epic 94-minute opening showdown. But they weren't disheartened, as the pair showed no signs of weariness to bounce straight back against Malaysians Chow Mei Kwan and Lee Meng Yan. And they booked their place in the semis after another straight games victory over another Malaysian duo, Vivian Hu and Yap Cheng Wen. Meanwhile, after winning their second match, Indonesia's Polly and Rahayu needed to win just one game to book their place in the semis. But underdogs Chow and Lee upset the odds in the final group match to seal a well-earned win and book a surprise spot in the last four. Second seeds Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young had a more comfortable route to the semis in Group B. The Toyota Thailand Open champions outlasted Germany's Linda Effler and Isabel Hertrich in their 3-game opener, before cruising past local pair Jungkolpan Kittitarakul and Rawinda Prajongjai, as well as England's Chloe Birch and Lauren Smith to top the group. Despite their defeat to the Koreans, Kittitarakul and Prajongjai also joined them in the semis with victories over the German and English pairings. Lee and Shin got the ball rolling on semi-finals day, seeing off Chow and Lee. The Malaysians, who had eliminated top seeds Polly and Rahayu, could not replicate their inspired form this time and were kept at arm's length masterfully by the Koreans.
Service over.
Well, again, complementing heavy smashes with nice blocks. It's all working swimmingly for Lee and Shin at the moment.
Lee and Shin took the first game by 7 points and were never really troubled in the second to seal their second final in a row. Meeting them there for an all-Korean clash were Kim and Kong. The Toyota Thailand Open champions sealed a second victory over Kittitarakul and Prajongjai, with their relentless attacks proving too much for the Thais in the first game. The home pair looked to have flipped things around in the second when they surged back to win 5 consecutive points before forcing a decider.
And it seems only just that it's going to be decided by a third game.
But they could not make it count, squandering an early lead in the third before allowing the Koreans 9 successive points to close out the showdown. In a repeat of the Toyota Thailand Open final, Lee and Shin had revenge on their minds when they locked horns once more with Kim and Kong in the longest final of the day. It was not going as planned. They lost the opening game and were trailing early in the second. The pair, however, remained defiant, denying Kim and Kong time and again when they were well within touching distance of victory.
They're back level. It's 20 all. 3 match points have been very, very well saved.
They saved 6 championship points to force a decider.
It is 1 game all. Who would have thought?
Having fallen from such a promising start, Kim and Kong looked deflated in the final game. They failed to muster up a fight and for the first time in the tournament were outplayed as Lee and Shin took sweet revenge.
Oh, here it comes, here it comes.
Yes, and they've done it.
네, 일단 저도 마찬가지로 일단 저희가 2세트로 질 수도 있을 뻔한 게임을 그래도 20대 16 정도에서 잡아서 극적으로 이길 수 있어가지고 더 기쁜 것 같아요.
여기서 이루고 싶었던 게 있었고 그걸 꼭 이루고 싶어서 그 간절함이 저희한테는 더 좋은 결과를 안겨주지 않았나 싶습니다.
It's time for a quick break, but when we come back, more Titanic duels as we find out how a Chinese Taipei duo and a Thai pair wrapped up their hat tricks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the HSBC BWF World Tour Finals 2020 review. Men's doubles top seeds Li Yang and Wang Qilin of Chinese Taipei came into the tournament having already triumphed in back-to-back events at the Impact Arena. And the pair started their hunt for a third with vigour against Malaysia's Ong Yu Sin and Teo Yi, pocketing the clash in straight games. Lee and Wang then went on to dismantle England's Ben Lane and Sean Vendy to secure their place in the semis with a match to spare. Despite the defeat, Lane and Vendy's conquests over countrymen Marcus Ellis and Chris Langdridge, as well as Ong and Teo, meant they became the first English men's doubles pair to reach the last 4 in the finals. In Group B, defending champions Mohammad Hassan and Hendra Setiawan launched their campaign on the right note, but encountered some turbulence in their second match. It came in the form of the Korean duo of Seo Seung Jae and Choi Sol Gyu, who they'd not beaten in 2 previous encounters. Once more, the Daddies didn't have the answer as they suffered a straight games loss. Seo and Choi sealed passage to the last 4 after winning a tough 3-game battle against Russia's Vladimir Ivanov and Ivan Sozonov, while the Daddies progressed following a stirring comeback win over Malaysia's young pairing of Aaron Chia and So Roy Yik. Standing in Hassan and Setiawan's way were Choi and Seo once again, with the world number 2s hoping to be 4th time lucky against their opponents. The closing stages of the opener was nail-biting stuff, but Hassan and Setiawan finally cashed in on their 3rd game point to take it 23-21. The Koreans looked deflated as the match wore on, and the veterans never really looked back after racing to a 7-point lead at the interval. A 23-21, 21-13 win for the reigning champions as they finally got one over the Korean pair. The other semi-final was a matchup between Lee and Wang and Lane and Vendy. The top-seeded pair entered the knockout stage as the only players with an unblemished record, but eyebrows were raised when the Englishman took a 4-point lead midway through the opener.
Isn't it terrific? Finishing with a firework as well, Sean Vendy there, 11-7.
But Lee and Wang soon clicked into gear as they recovered after the interval. Before nicking it 22-20 with a smart serve. The second game unfolded in similar fashion as Lane and Vendy tried their best to keep pace.
Suddenly look a little bit more businesslike, don't they?
But with momentum on Lee and Wang's side, they proved unstoppable.
Oh, that's a perfect serve. Perfect serve from Wang Qilin.
Joy for the pairing from Chinese Taipei as they reached their first final in the tournament. The added incentive for Lee and Wang going into this final, a chance to become the first men's doubles shuttlers from their country to find success at the season-ending tournament. Asan and Setiawan weren't quite prepared to roll over though. Trailing by 7 points at the first game interval, they engineered a comeback.
Definitely the longest we've seen.
Yes. Yeah, brilliant.
An epic rally ended with the Indonesians levelling the contest at 14-all. The Chinese Taipei pair, though, regained their focus just in time.
Good awareness from Lee.
Before closing out the opener 21-17. The second game was neck and neck, with Lee and Wang doing the chasing early on. The daddies were eventually pegged back and, on the brink of defeat, they reminded everyone of their famed defensive game.
Here it comes.
Don't believe it.
Oi.
Fabulous.
There would be no denying the inevitable though. Lee and Wang holding their nerve to be crowned champions and capping an incredible 3-week unbeaten streak in Thailand.
我觉得，因为我们在训练的，我们在去年训练了很久，所以我们其实在1月只是想要去尝试在新的打法上对比赛有没有更好的帮助。那很幸运的，刚好在1月的时候，刚好可以在第一站就可以拿到冠军，给了我们很大的肯定，对，所以我们才可以继续保持这样的状态，继续往上。
Like Lee and Wang, local favourites Dejapol Puavaranukroh and Sapsari Tiratanachai were seeking to cap a hat-trick of mixed doubles titles. And the momentum was surely with them as they won a tricky opener over Indonesia's Pravi Jordan and Melati Daeva Octavianti. But the Thais were brought back down to earth in their next match. Korea's Seo Seung-jae and Chae Yu-jung exacting revenge for their defeat in the Toyota Thailand Open final just a week earlier and booking a last 4 spot in the process. The Thai pairing eventually advanced too after they comfortably dispatched the top-seeded Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith in the final group match. Group B saw France's Tom Jiquel and Delphine Delroux announcing their arrival onto the big stage as they topped the table, having won all 3 of their matches, including the opening day upset win over Indonesia's Hafiz Faisal and Gloria Emmanuel Wijaja. Malaysia's Goh Soon Huat and Chevon Jemmy Lai booked the other semi-final ticket after ousting Faisal and Wijaja in 3 games. The reward for Goh and Lai was a clash with Seo and Chae, and the Malaysian pair matched the Koreans point for point in the opening game. Well, almost. Seo and Chae taking the last 2 points on offer to win 21-19. That setback played into the minds of Goh and Lai as they failed to muster any resistance in the second game. A walk in the park for Seo and Chae, who also improved their winning record against Goh and Lai to 3 and 4. The other semi-final was a seesaw battle. Jiquel and Delroux jumped into a 6-3 lead over Puavaranukroh and Tiratanachai in the opener. But the pendulum swung back to the home favourites.
Oh, it's fast.
Their rapid attacks too hot to handle for the French, and it was advantage Puavaranukroh and Tiratanachai. Both pairs proved inseparable halfway through the second game, and a decider looked on the cards as Jiquel and Delroux led 17-14. That was the cue for the Thais to steam ahead. 7 unanswered points as they completed a straight games victory. In the grand finale, Puavaranukroh and Tiratanachai carried the hopes of an entire nation on their shoulders. Clearly buoyed by the occasion, they raced to a healthy lead in the opening game.
Well, she withstood the pressure.
Seo and Chae, though, hardly buckled, rattling off 6 straight points to level things at 18-all.
Yeah, that's what she needs to do.
The The Koreans were on the ascendancy, but the Thais held firm in the closing stages.
Good play. That's a good play. Well done by Sapsari.
What a rally. Unbelievable.
Pua Varanukroh and Tiratanachai reeled off 3 straight points to grab the opener. Seo and Che dropped a game for the first time in the tournament, but their recovery was swift. They surged to a 7-0 lead in the second and took control to level the match.
Game.
However, the neutrals would be left disappointed as the Thais hit all the right notes and led from start to finish. It was all too easy for Pua Varanukroh and Tiratanachai as they delivered what was Thailand's first title in the final series' entire 38-year history.
Today I feel very happy and proud to be Thailand, and we will try our best again and again.
After 75 pulsating showdowns over 5 spectacular days, the curtain finally closed on the 2020 season. Join us again next time for the best from the world of badminton. In the meantime, we bid you goodbye from the land of smiles. It's bye-bye and do take care.